Hey everybody, it's Jim from Cigars. If you watch some of my more recent videos, you've seen that I've done some reviews from what I refer to as my cigar hut, which is a little shelter that I set up for myself so I can smoke during inclement weather or real cold weather like it is today. It's about 0 degrees Fahrenheit. I wanted to share this video with you because I've been at this a couple months now through all sorts of weather. Rainy, 30 degrees, windy, 0 degrees, sub-zero. And I've learned a lot of things. When I first started this, I wasn't sure if it would work and I've had to make some adjustments, but I've learned a lot of stuff and that's what I want to share with you in case you ever want to do something like this. Let's start with a tour of the cigar hut. I really like this one that I have. I wish I'd gotten a little bit bigger size, to be honest with you, but it's sturdy and it has a lot of the characteristics that I think you want to look for in one of these. I have links to both sizes in the description for this video. This is a very sturdy material, pretty easy to set up. It comes with a tarp. The nice thing about having it be clear is it picks up a lot of solar energy. So on a sunny day like this, we're a little bit in the shade now, but early in the day when it was sunny, it'll heat this thing up by 15 or 20 degrees more than the outdoor air temperature. The other thing that this has is nice, it's got flaps on 3 sides because we want to be able to have ventilation. And this allowed me to open up and I can kind of fine tune the best combination of openings to get rid of some of the smoke. So let's take a look inside. This is pretty easy to get into. It isn't exactly walking through a door, but you can get in like this and just kind of slide in, kind of like getting into a space capsule or something like that. And then once you're in, you zip it up. Another thing I like about this one is the zippers are nice. So what I have in here is 2 chairs and a table. And as you can see, I use one of my chairs as kind of putting all my crap on, and the table has the heater on. So if I was going to set this up for smoking, what I would do is have the flap about like that. This one about like that. And the back one I open sometimes, but on a real cold day like this, it really isn't necessary. But what I've kind of devised is I have the heater blowing in such a way that when I'm smoking a cigar, the smoke is here and the heater helps push it toward these vents. And it really provides a pretty smoke-free environment. It isn't quite like being outdoors. Your clothes, you end up smelling a little like cigar and stuff like that. But by and large, it's pretty comfortable. Let's talk about some tips on how you set this up. I'm going to open this up a little bit so you can see me more clearly. But what I would do first is try to locate it in an area where you're getting some sun. That's a really helpful thing, like I said before. You pick up a lot of solar energy. Secondly, if you can set this up so the main door, which this one is, faces your house. So I only have like 2 or 3 steps to get to this. And so that way I don't have to trudge through the snow and so forth. I have this on a flat surface. If you have a patio, a concrete patio or a wood deck, not a bad idea. You could put it on there. You notice there's a tarp on the floor on this. And I got to tell you, when I first set this up, I did use an area rug to try to make it nice and cozy. So let me talk about some of the mistakes that I made and some suggestions that I have for you, where if you do one of these, you can really get the maximum enjoyment out of it. The first thing you want to do is you want to weight the corners of this on the inside, and whether it's a tent or anything else, make sure you weight the corners. Just use a brick, or I got a dumbbell that I'm using in one corner, and stuff like that. Anything you find around that can weigh about 5 or 10 pounds in each corner, that's very helpful. If you look over here, I have it tethered onto some patio furniture, because basically this is sitting where my patio furniture would be sitting. The next thing you have to be concerned about is a heater. The heater that I have, and I have a link to a similar one in the description, it is an electric heater. It's about 1500 watts. It'll get an area this big very, very warm. I've had this up to, when it's 10 degrees outside, I've had the inside of this between the solar gain and the heater up to 52 degrees. So it gets pretty comfortable in here, even with some of the flaps open for ventilation. The other thing I want to talk about is the zippers. The zippers are very solid, but as I had some freezing rain and snow and blizzard conditions, What I ended up doing is spraying the zippers with cooking spray or silicone spray, and it really keeps them moving nicely. In terms of the flooring, we talked about that before. I would stick with the basic. You got to have something down. Now, one thing about this particular tent is the flooring is a separate tarp. So if you're using a tent that has a built-in floor, that would be a different story. You really have to be basic on that. I wouldn't use carpet or anything like that. I talked earlier about that experience. For furniture, my suggestion to you is realize that you don't have as much space as you'd think. This is 61 by 61, and that sounded pretty big, but you have to understand that since it's a tent and it's curved upward, you lose that head space. I've already slid in about 4 or 5 inches to keep my head from hitting the side. So when you look at furniture, you want to be comfortable, certainly, but don't overdo it. There's no room for stuffed chairs and couches and so forth. I got to tell you, I really enjoyed this. It has made a world of difference for me in terms of smoking in winter weather. But I hope these tips help you, and I will see you next time.